There was a clip of you talking about finding a partner in the future.
There's so many guys out in the world. I think, one poor bastard's got to marry me.
Do you regret any of this? Or do you think your future self will regret any of this?
No, I definitely don't regret it. And obviously, I can't speak for myself in the future. I don't know how I'm going to feel. But at the end of the day, I can't come back and say I regret this because this is what, I want to do in the moment. I'm not someone who is very regretful because I think everything happens for a reason. Like,
Yeah.
if I look back on this and I'm like, oh, fuck, I wish I hadn't done that. But then I wouldn't be the person who I am if I didn't do it.
Shalom. Kal halayim la Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem Recha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of GMS. And salutations and blessings to you elect out there. So, as society decays and the degradation and morals of society continue, you're gonna start seeing more and more of complete debauchery, as we hit the climax of society, the pinnacle. That also coincides with the most, people being beastly, So this person, majority of people know her, right? She did a challenge, and this speaks to the volume of for prophecy. This speaks in volumes for prophecy that in the last days, you're just gonna have complete chaos, right? People are gonna let loose. You're gonna have, families divided, apart, and all kinds of other things, right? So I got a few things. I'm gonna read this first. This is from what is this called? Did the Romans Degenerate? Right, and this is a paper from the University of Chicago, I believe. So it's not a book. You can type it in what's it called? Did the Romans Degenerate? University of Chicago was a PDF. Right, this is from page 172. It says, "Let us now estimate the Roman life of this period in material conditions, personal habits, amusements, education, literature, religion, government, and law. It was an age of rudeness, narrowness, hardness, coarseness, and cruelty. They say that the early Romans were pure and free from vice and crime, that they did not love vile or brutal amusements, offer victims to their gods, rob plebeians, break the marriage bond, beat their wives, kill or sell their children, or abuse their slaves." And that's, the original Romans were who? It was Japhet. Right? The word Japhet goes back to beauty, beautiful. Right? So, that speaks to their spirit. But as you see, you understand the Edomites, they took over Rome, right? That empire. Just like they took over the Greeks. The original Greeks were Japhetic as well. Page 174. Having considered early Roman manners and institutions, let us now follow the changes which took place. We mark first that increase in material prosperity and softening of the conditions of life which always accompanies advancing civilizations. The softening of conditions of life. This place is really the softest it's ever been. All these amenities and comforts, right? Now you got people not even cooking as an elemental thing, such as cooking in society, in life, in a tribe. I don't care where, in a village, cooking is being phased out, man. They're conditioning your minds, right? Groceries are so high, Oh, you don't have time. You should have skipped it, right? The skip the dish commercials, right? Where they show you should have skipped it. you should. Hey, you're doing dishes. You should have skipped it, right? You didn't have to do the dishes. You didn't have to wash the dishes. So everything is degenerating, right? Like just take out. Hurry up. I need it quick. That lifestyle of the softening of the condition. That's why when this hell breaks loose and society fails and amenities fail and life gets very, very hard at a very rapid rate, right? Which is the next thing. It's not like life is going to slowly get harder. Things are going to drastically change, as they are now. right? We have the tariffs in Canada, economic wars. Things are changing. Things can change in the night, right? At 12 o'clock, midnight. Things can change in the morning, you know? So it says the historians hail this advance with such language as this, quote, luxury prevailed more and more in dress, ornaments, and furniture, in buildings, and at table. Above all, this new luxury appeared in the appliance of the table, or the appliances of the table. Reading on to learn that this alarming growth of luxury was, we find that the Romans, who had hitherto partaken of hot dishes once a day, now had them twice. So things got a little better. Things got more easier. And there's nothing wrong with some things being easy, like for example, technological advances in farming and agriculture. You know, you didn't have to carry something; you can make a device that helps you carry that, or whatever the case is, right? But there is a point where you cross a line, and you know, that comfort, that softening of that condition will cost you something else. It'll cost you, you know, maybe not you, maybe you're the next generation, because doing something properly was part of the way, part of the process. Maybe it'll cost in the quality, maybe it'll cost, you know, in another way, right? But there is always a cost when once you cross a line, you know, where things are easy and then things are too easy. They're not supposed to be done that way. Okay, so it says, hitherto the woman of the household had attended to the baking and cooking, but now in the better houses a special cook was kept. There were now carpets or hangings, silver plate, couches with bronze ornaments. Pork and vegetables were no longer the only food. Various kinds of meat, fish, salads, and fruits were served. Baths and barbers were known in all the towns. Shall we call this luxury or civilization? With improved methods of agriculture and the growth of trade and manufacturers, life ceases to be bare and rude. Beauty and refinement adorn the homes of men. Is there then no such thing as sinful luxury, a wickedly extravagant expenditure in indulging tastes and appetites? There is indeed, and it is due not to the Slakia, and it is due not to the too great production of wealth, but to the imperfect distribution of it. This is the difficulty today, and it was still more an evil in the great slaveholding states of antiquity, especially at Rome, where law and government and custom so favored the accumulation of much capital in few hands. The magnificent marble palaces, the rich robes, the silver plate, the gardens and statues, the feasts of rare dainties strike us with horror, because we remember the suffering multitude. What we condemn is the selfishness which can take 40% interest from the poor and gorge itself with good things. Page 179. Now this is going to lead to the next video. It says, those forms of marriage by which a woman was transferred from her father's family to that of her husband and was absolutely subject to him passed out of use. Almost all married women remained under their fathers' power, and as fathers ceased to exercise this power strictly and allowed their daughters to conduct their own affairs, women became free. It has been said that this freedom, together with other debasing influences, corrupted women, so that the Roman women of later times were monsters of vice and profligacy compared with the Lucretias and Cornelius of early ages. This is today, bro. This is what we're living in today, and this happened in the past. Hey, that which has been is that which shall be. Most High requires that which is past. So, as it said here, man, you know, that was righteous. When a woman married, she came from under the subjection of her father to the subjection of her husband. But now the father still held the power, which was completely off. And then to make matters worse, they didn't exercise that power. Women became free. And then it said debasing influences. So in that time you had debasing influences. So can you imagine in this time, social media, like Kanye West says, social media is your girl's man. You know, social media got your girl. You don't got her. Social media got her. Okay, now let's go to the next video.
What does your dad say about it? honestly, he loves it. Like, obviously, he doesn't sit watching the videos, but like all my social media, my TikToks, he'll have a look at. And he's just proud seeing how happy I am, how much I've been able to support the family. And it's like, it's really changed my life and my family's life. I've got these stamps and it says, like, I slept with Bonnie Blue. I want to sleep with Bonnie Blue and stuff. And like,
Oh,
I was
love
practicing
that.
them on my dad. And my dad was like, I need to go to the pub after this. And he's got like stamps all up his arms to say he slept with his daughter.
You see the madness, man. This is what's popular. This is what pop culture is today. This is what children are watching on Instagram and catching these reels, and this is what people are discussing. This is madness, right? But this is showing you that this empire is finished. America, the Western Empire, okay, the Western world, all right, is finished. Is done. Okay, and this is exactly this video I just played is exactly what we just read right here. And I got this next one, right?
And Bonnie have got countless guys lined up, ready to us. Oh, how many shoes are you guys counting? Wait. Whoa, these are all the guys. There's more in there as well.
That's that's the life, man. That this is who you're wifing up right now. Okay, these kind of monsters, bro. What did it say here? They became corrupted women, right? Roman women of later were monsters of vice. So these hoes, man, they're monsters of vice, man. Okay, now let me play another video.
There was a clip of you.
So this woman asked ChatGPT, if you were the devil, how would you make women hate their role at home? And that's a good question. We're going to pause and read, obviously. So if I were the devil and wanted to make women hate their role at home, I would take strategic, multi-layered approach to distort their perception of homemaking, motherhood, and marriage. Hey, homemaking, that was a thing back in the day. They made a documentary on Martha Stewart, homemaker, cooker. That was a craft, bro. That was an honor, but they ridiculed it. And now you have these monsters at home where the household is totally messed up, man. Modern household, modern families are messed up. Let me not play the video. Let me just fast forward to get this. So redefine fulfillment and success. I'd convince women that true success is only found outside the home. I'd equate their worth with a career title, paycheck, or societal status, making them feel like homemaking is a waste of their talents. I'd whisper that they are just a mom, as if raising the next generation, creating a peaceful home, and nurturing a marriage were insignificant. And that's how these women view that today. You know, and this happened throughout decades. It was a planned attack. It wasn't just one generation. Okay, it started with the 60s, right? If you want to be technical. And you had little movements before that, but it wasn't the time. The 40s, the 50s, the women were in somewhat of an order. I won't say obviously the women were in order, but you had the family back then. That's what I'm talking about. You had patriarchy and you had the family. You had a home. Okay, you had home cooked meals. All right, but during the 60s, late 60s, and then the 70s, you can already track the different women based on the influences, based on the programming. The 70s woman, it was a complete different thing in the 80s. The 80s woman, she changed. In the 90s, the women were different. Each decade brought a different form of a woman, you know, based on the programming. And then look, in the 2000s, you still had women say, look, I want a family, but then it was at a crossroads. A lot of women were saying, no, I want a career first and then a family. Fast forward to the late 2000s, 2010s to now, women, I don't want kids. I don't want a family. I'll abort. I'm just gonna work. I don't even want a career. I'll be an OnlyFans girl. I'll be this. I'll be that. I'll be an influencer. I'll be on TikTok. People are completely bugged out, man. You know. Let me just fast forward. Glorify discontent and resentment. I'd highlight the hardest parts of motherhood and marriage while downplaying the joys. I'd make sure they constantly compare their daily grind to the curated, glamorous lives of influencers who appear to have it all. Hey, like what was that bitch name? Marilyn Monroe, right? That's who these hoes love. Well, before she died, she said there was an interview. You could look it up, and she said, "Look, I know I seem happy and everything and joyous, but I'm pretty empty inside. I'm actually sad." Okay, so a lot of you women, you have that external, but internally, man, you need Xanax, you need red wine nights. Okay, you cry to go to sleep. You're empty. There's no substance in you. You know, and that's not due to you. That's due to the elites. If you want to get down to it, that's due to the elites. Okay, you are fashioned. You're not liberated. You're not free. You are still a programmed creature, man. Okay, you're a programmed being. You know, Esau still got into your mind and warped it. Okay, via the media, your magazines. Back in the day, you had a thing called magazines. Okay, magazines, the tabloids, the advertisements, the TV shows, the soap operas, the movies, the romantic comedies. Okay, it says, I'd feed them lies that their husbands don't appreciate them, their children are burdens, and their home is a prison. Normalize chaos and self indulgence. I'd spread the idea that home life is meant to be messy, overwhelming, and exhausting, so why even try? I'd push the message that it's impossible to be to be a peaceful, joyful homemaker, and the only way to cope is through endless scrolling, retail therapy, or constant me time at the expense of their family. Undermine marriage and motherhood. I'd make sure they believe that their husband is just another child to take care of, and that motherhood is an endless cycle of servitude. I'd elevate independence over partnership, making them feel like their family is holding them back rather than being their greatest blessing. Erase femininity and distort womanhood. I'd blur the lines between men and women, making them believe that femininity is weakness. I'd mock traditional womanhood, homemaking, and motherhood as outdated and oppressive, ensuring ensuring they reject their natural design in favor of a more empowered but ultimately unfulfilling path. Damn. Fill their minds with noise. I'd make sure their days were filled with distractions, constant screens, social media, shallow entertainment, so they never have time to reflect, pray, or find peace in their role. I drown out wisdom from older, contented women and replace it with modern feminist rhetoric that breeds dissatisfaction. See, and that's the world we're living in today, man. Everything I'm reading right now, this is the condition we find ourselves in. And this is exactly why the Lord said, look, or it's like Paul, the Lord through Paul, he said, if you are unmarried, you should remain unmarried. Okay, in the book of Second Ezra, it says they that be married as though they be unmarried even. Okay, so you're in that mindset that, look, a woman is not the end all be all, a family is not an end all be all in the society, because these women are not even women. They're pre-programmed for chaos. Okay, they come preloaded, pre-programmed with chaos, a distortion, disservice, weighing you down. Okay, just completely bugged out, man. Okay, these women are not women nowadays. All right, they're fucking sex creatures. I don't know what to call them. They're bugged out. They're nymphomaniacs. Okay, they've been hypersexualized, and the men are bugged out as well. The men are not men for the most part. It says, make homemaking appear lonely and meaningless. I'd isolate them, cutting them off from community with other like-minded women. I'd make them believe that no one understands their struggles and that they are alone in their role. I'd remove any sense of sacredness from the home, making it feel like a never-ending cycle of chores rather than a place of life-giving beauty. Ultimately, I'd work to make women forget their why, the deep, soul-enriching purpose behind caring for their families. I'd trade their peace for striving, the contentment for comparison, and their joy for exhaustion. Because when a woman hates her role at home, the foundation of the family crumbles, and with it, the strength of future generations. See, so this is This was a surgical strike, a planned strike by Isa, by the elites. Okay. Now, that was that video. So that was pretty much it. Let me get this. This is Sirach or Salakia, Ecclesiastes 10 and 5. There is an evil which I have seen under the sun, as an error which proceedeth from the ruler. He sees, where did this come from? The rulers. Who are your true rulers? Is it the president? Is it Trump? Is it Trudeau? Was it Biden? No, these are presidents of a company. Okay, you have shareholders, you have people above them. Okay, you have the true rulers of the people, which have found out how the psyche works, how the mind works, how you can influence people, how you can pretty much program them very subtly, very slowly, but pretty much create a product in the end, you know? Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in low place, right? In the NLT, it says, when they give great authority to foolish people and low positions to people of proven worth, you know, and this word folly, early 13th century, mental weakness, foolish behavior or character, unwise conduct. In Middle English, including wickedness, lewdness, madness, folly, madness, stupidity. Okay? You know, so all these things I just read, unwise conduct, lewdness, foolishness, stupidity. Okay? You know, just madness, bro, foolishness. Right? And you people are known as something as useful idiots. Okay, you can look that term up. There's a thing called a useful idiot. You are useful. Okay? You are very useful. You have a bunch of useful idiots. You have useful idiots in as senators and politicians, useful idiots as mayors, you know, sergeants, captains, you know, the chief of police. You have a lot of useful idiots, man. Right? You need useful idiots, but you are pawns, right? And you really don't care what the hell's going on the planet, but we know what's going on. This is madness. Right? Everything I just showed, those videos of those degenerate women, this is where the world is headed, man. This is the next generation. You know, if we're here 5 years, the next generation is going to come pick it up, and you're going to see even more madness. Okay, but we're at the end of this foolishness. We're at the end of this age of vanity. Okay, so anyway, hope you're edified with that. Kal halal yam la Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Racha HaKurash. Double honors to the apostles, elders of GMS. Shalom to the elect.